Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Can be. How's that? Yeah.
Like to call the Board of Supervisors meeting to order. As always, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. We do have a quorum. We do need to adopt an agenda. Anybody have anything we need to add to the agenda this afternoon?
Mr. Chairman, I do have one item I asked to be added under information correspondence is a press release.
Yes, sir.
I've handed that out, and we will get that uploaded in the public. I mean, for the packet, so the public has it. But I will go over that matter during that time if you so adopt.
Yes, sir. Anybody else? What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. As always, public comment. Public comment.
Mr. Chairman, very briefly, you will recall one of your colleagues, Kevin McGee, has been recognized by Aging Together 5 over 50, and there's going to be a watch party. I believe it is on May 19th from 4 to 6. He was selected as Madison County's representative. This is a program that the Area Agency on Aging has handled for several years. He's a remarkably youthful looking 5 over 50. If any of you have seen the flyer, I will leave this for the board, but I'm sure Kevin would appreciate seeing people at the Madison United Methodist Church on May 19th between 4 and 6.
Thank you. They really couldn't have picked a better person. Other public comment. Other public comment. All right, we're going to do it at the end again. We do have a consent agenda. You've got the minutes from 3/17, 3/22. You have a supplemental that's an EMS to F&M for 45, 356, 35. You've got an ARPA grant for 20,000, and then you've got advertising admin to economic development for 6,550. Anybody have questions, comments, thoughts, motion? What do y'all want to do?
No, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Special appearances, we don't have any. Go straight to constitutional officers, county departments, committees, and organizations. Valerie, howdy. Can we pass around the microphone so everybody can hear online? What do we have? We have one or
He got one.
half a person watching. Three. We're doing pretty well today. I'm one of the three. Good. Very good. Very good. No, it's fine. She's going to tell us about advertising. Valerie, please.
All right. Good afternoon from the Department of Social Services. Now that it's April, we're actually doing some public awareness around child abuse prevention. You might see both pinwheels as well as some cute signs around our community partners that help us with addressing child abuse in the community. So again, that's my upbeat report. I can also tell you that we've seen a significant uptick in our applications for both medical assistance and supplemental nutrition assistance programs. So more folks are receiving food assistance than they have been in the past. So we are still awaiting guidance from the state and federal government on how some of the COVID restrictions are going to be ending. So again, there is some concern that when all of the supplemental assistance ends, how families who have been relying on that additional help for the past 2 years transition to kind of whatever that new normal will look like. So we're monitoring, staying tuned in to what's happening at the state level, and just responding to citizens' concerns as they come in the department. We have 18 children in foster care, 4 youth in what we call fostering futures that we're continuing to assist. But overall, all is well at the Department of Social Services.
Any questions for Valerie? Valerie, thank you. If we can pass it back to Lita. Also, I've got to say, Mr. Price, it's good to have you back. REC still doing okay?
Yes, indeed.
There you go.
Blind Appreciation Day yesterday, Mr. Chairman.
Well, very good. We appreciate the power. Lita.
For the month of March, we submitted to the state or remitted to the state 112,000. We submitted to the county $43,341. We did 184 deeds, 47 judgments, and 14 probates, which that's really keeping Liz busy. My secured remote access money, we were able to use that, and we have now scanned indexes from 1793 to 1969, and we've got books 60 through 101 scanned. So I'm just waiting on some more secured remote access money, or looking to a library grant to get books 1 through 59 done. And I just let Alan know about this late, and he's very gracious to let you know, but this is something I'm very excited about, is the first series on the Shenandoah National Park court proceedings. They're now online, and you can go to that website. It's got right now 363 files on it. It's all related to the court proceedings, the 55,000 acres of land from Madison County that was taken into the park. And it has the legal proceedings of each individual, the tracts of land, the case files. It talks about the property, surveys, assessments, locations. There's even personal letters that the people who lived there wrote to describe their land and to not take it into the park or not be condemned. We got the grant from PEC, the Piedmont Environmental Council, and the young lady that did this spent probably close to 6 months scanning every piece of paper, which every single one of those pieces of paper were just in a cardboard box. And we just didn't have the money or the ways to do it. And so when they approached me about doing this, I jumped on it, and I am excited to say that it is complete.
That is absolutely
So check
great.
that website out.
Have you, and certainly they know about it, but have you passed this on to like the Historical Society, and they know about all these things?
And unfortunately, you all know how much I love speaking in public. I've got to speak about that on May 15th.
Ah.
Doing a presentation, and unfortunately, I'm going to speak about it, but I'm pretty excited about it. So,
You'll do great.
So this is something that we've been wanting to have done for a long time. And when I took oath, one of the things that my main goal was to preserve the records of the system. And I feel like this is one step closer to it.
So
So where and when is your presentation?
It's going to be
All right, everybody come support Lita. Be great. Sheriff?
Just a couple quick things. We're as you see by our recent Facebook post, elderly scams are picking up again. We just had another one today for over 4K. Larcenies are out of control thanks to the building zone. I got a copy of all the recent constructions going on in the county. We've had 2 areas hit in the last week, somewhere between 7 and 10K of tools that's been stolen. And we're still dealing with the manpower shortage. We're trying, but just can't find nobody right now. So I'll turn it over to Brian. Questions? I'm sorry.
Any
Questions?
questions for the sheriff? Thanks, Sheriff. Commish?
Good afternoon. We've got our business tangible property returns out. They went out a week or so ago, due back May 1st. So make sure if you have anybody in business in Madison, talk to them about getting those forms back. Still working through some Avinity conversion things. That's going okay, and looking to get the real estate bills over to Stephanie.
Do you have any kind of update? We all received a letter, and I know you're aware of it, about the loggers wanting exemptions on their equipment.
Right. I sent Jonathan a copy of the analysis that I did.
So we have that scheduled for April the 26th. I think there's one last thing. We're going to see what neighboring counties are doing, but Brian has sent at least the fiscal impact, if you want to consider. So we'll have everything ready before the meeting on the 26th.
Very good. All right. Any questions for the commission? All right. Thank you. Brian?
All right. We finally cut over Next Generation 911 last week. That is fully cut over, along with fully integrated text to 911. It's no longer 2 systems. It's all coming in on our main 911 terminal. Last month, we had 4,052 phone calls coming to the center, and 1,201 calls for service generated from those phone calls. As you have some pictures up there of Hoover Ridge, construction has started. Site work is nearly complete. They expect to have that done by the end of the week, and the footers will begin for the tower on May 2nd, barring any setbacks or weather withdrawals, obviously. Hughes River, they moved the artifacts research back to May the 2nd from April the 20th, and we're still waiting here from the Corps of Engineers on that creek issue. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Anybody have questions for Brian? Glad we're moving on with the Hoover Ridge site, and first step of an exciting process.
Yes. Yeah. And Beautiful Run and Blakey are also scheduled to get new generators installed, and we should be starting seeing some movement on the small construction phases there. Probably should be completed, I would say, by June.
Good. And the existing generators that are up there, I understand we're trying to find repurposes.
Yes, they will be surplus if we have another use for them. Otherwise, we can put them in auction, whichever we see fit.
Let's see if we can find a use for them, because we don't do very good with auctions.
Yeah, we're looking at load. We're currently looking at load calculations to see if this facility or the building down the hill. The building down the hill, actually, when the health department was there, was plumbed in via propane for the generator. I guess when they left, they took their generator. But we're certainly considering those 2 facilities or any other facilities. A lot of our facilities, I guess, happy to report, have existing generators. So we certainly will do that, Mr. Chairman.
And so one of them's a 20K, that one's a 14.
We will keep that in mind. Yes. Good. Good. Yeah, give it back to Stephanie. Anybody got questions for Brian? All right. Miss Murray.
Good afternoon. Things are going well in the treasurer's office. We're working through some tweaks with Avinity. Of course, when you roll out a new system, it takes a little time to figure it out, and that's what we're doing. I can honestly say from the time that we went live January 31st till today, there are many things that are so much better. It's improved processes quite a bit. But the next big thing is to get the real estate tax bills out. So Brian and I are working together to try to make that happen. We're working with Avinity because the whole process, of course, is totally changed. But all in all, things are well in the treasurer's office.
Questions, Miss Murray? Brian's working well with you. No
Yes.
problems. No, that's the way to be. Good.
No.
All right.
We're a
Well,
pretty good team together. That's
what
for
it
sure.
looks like. Gavin.
Yes, sir. I guess I'm going to wear two hats. I'll do EMS and then I'll give you EM.
All right.
EMS report's fairly short. We had 158 calls for service, average response time of 11 minutes. There was a little bit of an increase there due to multiple calls occurring at the same time and the distance to some of those calls. We are still fully staffed, so we've exceeded that one-day record from last year again. And we have successfully submitted our RSAF grant. So announcements will be made on that on July 1st of this year. As far as emergency management's concerned, we did complete the crisis track training with the building department. So we are all ready to go with our logins and everything else. Should we have a large scale event, we would be able to do the tracking on any large scale damage assessments as needed. We had our first LEPC meeting. We've got another one scheduled for the 29th. I've heard from some of our LEPC members already getting back to me with EOP suggestions. Thank you, Valerie, for your detailed one. I haven't had a chance to respond back to you. The April schedule for EM is complete, and we're answering all the calls. We're also beginning to start working on the State Homeland Security grant process. We're waiting for some additional information coming in from VDEM on that. We should hopefully have a lot more details in the next week or so. We'll be getting that to the Sheriff's Department, to Brian, EMS, Fire. All of them can participate in that if it's anything that's remotely related to terrorism and prevention thereof. So the Touch a Truck event took place on Saturday. Went very well for a first attempt at it, and we were very pleased with that. Air Care 6 came in, the Sheriff's Department, EMS, Fire, Brian's office. I think everybody had a good time. We got some good training out of it, and I don't have any issues with it at all. It just really was a lot of fun and good stuff. And the only last thing we had is we did have a successful rescue of a hiker on March 16th that took place out in the Graves Mountain area. And so I was glad to see a real good relationship with dispatch and the fire department, and we were able to get him out of there safely. So that's all I have.
Question for Gavin on EMS or emergency management?
So Gavin, we've got 4 ambulances on call right now. Is it 4 or the 3?
We run anywhere from 2 to 3 ambulances at a given time. So like, for instance, today we have 2 ambulances in service with a third, what we call as a reserve. Right now, for instance, they've only got 5 people staffed, so we would not be able to staff that third ambulance. When I was there and Noah was there, we could have run that ambulance, which we quite frequently do. There are times where we have 3 ambulances staffed with a 4th as a reserve, and we've put them all on the street at the same time. So,
but typically we have 2 units available and staff available for 2 units. Is that?
Yeah, our minimum staffing is 2 staffed ALS ambulances, so at least one paramedic on board each ambulance, and a chase car, with also usually a paramedic or one of our supervisors on there. And quite frequently we have 3 ambulances on the road with a chase car as well, and Noah and I in backup on Monday through Friday on that. So we can gear up very, very quickly to support the county. And it does happen. It's proven that once in our busy period, that once we have a call for service, it seems on a regular basis within 5 to 10 minutes, we're dropping tones for another call. And generally it can happen again for a third call. So we're becoming busier.
I got one more thing. I've been questioned by a number of people about, remember, what was it? Almost 2 years ago? We did the Culpeper versus Charlottesville, where we go when.
Right.
I think that needs to go out again, because people don't seem to understand that at all.
Is that the policy on the closest appropriate facility that you're referencing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you give a
Gavin, how-
summary for that for the board?
Yeah,
members and the
I'd be
general
happy to
public?
answer any questions or kind of give you a rundown on what our policy is. I actually helped write that at the time. What we were experiencing at the time were a lot of minor calls, and our policy at the time was basically if the resident said, I want to go to UVA, we went to UVA. And it could be for a broken finger. It could be something very minor. The turnaround time to go to UVA is a couple hours or more, depending on the time of day, which left the county in many cases without an ALS unit available. So if somebody was having a heart attack or a very serious illness or injury, we had to call for mutual aid, which may or may not come. They may still have to wait until we could get an ambulance turned around. So the idea was to put into effect closest appropriate facility, which is the model that just about all of our neighboring communities use, just about anywhere you go for the same reasons. So we wrote that, it was approved by the board, and we try to explain that to people what that means. And appropriate facility closest might be UVA. If someone's having a major heart attack, we're not taking them to Culpeper, we're going to UVA. And depending on what the injury might be, not only may they be going to UVA, they may be going by helicopter. It might be the difference between life and death. Those decisions are not made by the supervisor. They're not made by me. They're not made by Noah. They're made by the attendant in charge, the person who's in charge of that ambulance after they've had a chance to assess the patient
On site.
On site.
Yeah, yeah.
After we see the patient. We don't make those decisions in advance. Quite frequently, we have a request at time of dispatch that says, hey, patient's requesting to go to Martha Jefferson. We wait till we get there and we assess the patient to find out. There are other contributing things that go into that. It might be a patient that is a cancer patient who has very specialized care at a particular hospital. We weigh those things. We always do what's in the best interest for the patient at the time. And our people put a lot of thought and energy into that before they make those decisions. So it's not always what people want to hear, but we try to do the best for our people that we can.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Gavin.
Yes, sir.
Good. Other questions for Gavin? All right, pass back to Ligon.
Yeah, hello. Everything's well in building and zoning, very busy. Just want to let everybody know, of course, last week we had the sort of community work session for the proposed glamping / event venue. It's event venue really doesn't describe it properly. It's really the camping glamping facility on Ford Shop Road. Mr. Helmy is the applicant, and he has indicated he was satisfied with the sort of the hearing that he pretty much put on here. I know some of y'all were here and I was not there. I think he was satisfied, at least with the initial contact. So he is planning on moving forward. That'll be the only thing on the agenda for May the 4th, Wednesday joint meeting. Of course, the planning commission meeting meets next week. Working with Mr. Helmy to kind of think about some conditions. I've got a few. For instance, the first condition is it's not going to have large scale outdoor events. So I went and walked the property today, just thinking of some ideas, maybe some enhanced landscaping, looking at maybe different ways to lay it out, even thinking of a phasing plan that we could talk about. I'm very honest, it is a lot of units, and that is one thing that's concerned me, and I've told him it is fairly dense, but I do think the site is kind of unique, the topography of it and the existing landscaping that's there really does kind of promote itself to sort of visually, I think, sort of appeal as best it can, considering the use. So we're going to work on that the 20th and have that before you. And of course, between now and the meeting, we're going to be working with conditions and try to turn over every rock we can. Of course, that's why y'all are here. That's why the Planning Commission's here, because we don't always think of everything. So I'm really going to put a lot of work toward that. And just as a matter of process, I know June, we're looking at several relatively smaller hearings, but one thing I'm encouraging all folks to do is if you come in with a special use permit or sometimes a rezoning, is to have 2 attempts to go to work sessions back to back before. So I think that will help us. When someone comes in, pays the fee, wants to have a hearing, we put them on the docket, but most folks are very open to the idea of letting their idea be vetted first at the Planning Commission at a workshop. So that's sort of how I want to move forward with that. So other than that, that's all I got. Any questions for me or?
Anything for Ligon?
I got one quick one, and I couldn't remember the other day. So, did we go with subdivisions of property that are just meet all the requirements? Is all administrative through your office now?
If it's one,
If
just
it's-
one, that's
if it's
correct.
one, yeah.
Anything more would come before,
Yeah, that's right. Okay, thanks.
or a family one.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thank you.
All right, Livingston.
Clarissa said she's only got a few more miles of signal, so can she
All
go
right.
next?
Yeah, absolutely. Clarissa.
Clarissa?
She must be flying.
She's in Richmond. Who
Oh.
flies to Richmond? What? No, she's not flying. She's not
No,
flying.
I
Nobody
meant
flies
going
to
very
Richmond.
fast.
All right.
Anyway, with the IT world, we got it's a long list. We got the data ran and the phones installed over at the sheriff's department. We're working on the technology to get them to work as an intercom, sir. At the point that's where we are with that one. We're going to be doing some changes to the firewall tomorrow that should allow those two networks to at least talk like that. So we can have that as an intercom. We do have an outage tomorrow at around 12 o'clock. Shouldn't last but about 15 minutes, where you'll lose access to the internet and email. In case anyone's wondering what happened. Working on some email encryption testing so that the department heads and folks like that can now send encrypted emails with sensitive information back and forth as much as they need. It's just a licensing kind of issue. Still trying to run to a few snags, bringing over the older VM servers to the new VM environment. But we're working on the backups for that, and hopefully in the next week we'll get those over there, and then we can decommission that server and just leave it in the rack for emergencies. Or Christmas is coming, you could regift it to your friends and family. We got the fiber coming now. All the permits are signed. We're waiting on a confirmation with another meeting, a status meeting with ANS and all the fiber people, with Jonathan, and hopefully that dam is going to break, and we're gonna get this fiber connection to this building and to the courthouse. Tyler administration working on that, trying to get ready for the ERP project with Michelle. She dragged me into a meeting today, and her office needs air conditioning. Soon, maybe tomorrow, we're going to roll out a new email address that folks can now email to. Instead of just reaching out over the phone. They can still reach out over the phone all they want. But like if I'm off or whatever, we've got a monitor actually set up now so that if you send an email to that address with your problem, we're going to see it. And we're going to respond to it. So that'll be new. It'll also keep us and give us a better chance to monitor what's coming in. If you're having repeat problems or you had the same problem 3 months ago, or it's going to track all that kind of history in there, and we'll know what to do. But when I'm out, folks will be relaying to that, and me and Jonathan are going to be working up another plan for the days that I'm out and how that ticket queue is going to get monitored, and we're going to respond to those calls.
Bruce, is this part of Zendesk?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's touch base for our staff meeting next week. We can talk to all department heads, please. Thank you.
All righty. And the only other thing is we're working on to finalize the numbers on the PA for Lita over in the courthouse. We're really hoping we can get that paid for and get that started over there. That's pretty much me.
Anybody have any questions for Livingston? You bring a real peculiar energy to the IT sector, Livingston. It's
Wow.
good to see. We appreciate it.
I don't have much energy. Thank you.
There you go. All right, Michelle.
Good afternoon. Things in finance are going really well. We are going to start back starting tomorrow. I'll be in training 2 days this week for the ERP configuration and 1.5 days next week. And then May through June, I have 1 day a week set that I'll be working on ERP training. I've been working with different localities close by, learning more about the ERP programs with Tyler, that they use the same thing that we do, and to get information to help us with implementing ours. And other than training and reviewing grants and different things, I've been staying busy with other projects. So.
Any questions for Michelle? All right, Miss Allen.
Good afternoon from the school board as well. I do have a few things to share with you. You know by now that we have not had our April meeting. We postponed it for a week, and it will be next Monday. But I do have some things that I want to tell you about. We're very pleased that we have a new school board member who will be joining us on Monday night for his first meeting. As all of you know, Damon Myers was selected to complete, not quite, the term of Angela Eichenberger, who resigned in January. But he will be with us through the end of 22, but he also will have to, if he wants to complete her term, he will have to stand for election in November, and then he'll have all the way to the end of 23. We're looking forward to working with him and being back to a full board again. A couple of other little things I did want to share with everyone. We are in the middle of a textbook adoption for language arts, and I did want to let everybody know that the samples are in the schools. So if you're interested in taking a look at those, all you have to do is go to the schools and then ask them if you can take a look at them. And they usually have them in the teacher's lounge or a place where people can go in and look at them. So I hope some of you may have an opportunity to go in and do that. And the last thing, because of the increased interest in the goings-on at school board meetings, our superintendent has set aside some time to interact with the public. And she has a series first one coming up on Thursday, of meetings to get input from the public about the 5-year plan and anything else that anybody would be interested in being able to answer questions. 2 of the meetings are Zoom meetings, and then the rest, some will be in the morning and some will be in the afternoon, and some in the evening, but they will be at the school board office, not at the high school, just so you know. Questions, anybody?
Anybody? Thank you, Miss Allen.
You're welcome.
All right, Greg, go ahead.
All right, good evening. We did have our Rabies Clinic. That went very well. It was actually a really good turnout. Vaccinated 28 animals that day. Dr. Reinhold also informed us after the rabies clinic, after the rabies outbreak off of Shiflett's Corner, he was overwhelmed, had several people come by his clinic and had their animals revaccinated. Still working with the health department, monitoring the 9 cats that are being quarantined for the continued 4 months off Shiflett's Corner. So far, all are still appear to be healthy. And other than that, we're, without going in too much details, animal control is staying busy, and we still have a few investigations that are ongoing. Any questions?
Buddy? I hate to go out of order. Let's talk about this press release real quick while we're talking to Greg, and we're about to talk to Karen. Y'all mind if we kind of knock out a couple of these real quick? Please, Jonathan.
If you have that, I email. Can you load that real quick? Alan's going to load this. As I stated earlier, this was a last-minute addition. We've had a evolving situation over the weekend, and an incident involving a domestic animal. It's currently under investigation. So we put together this press release. I have spoken with the sheriff's office, the Commonwealth Attorney's office, as well as animal control. All agencies are aware, as well as the county. But a lot of folks, not only from the local general public, but there's a lot of outreach beyond that of what's going on. We want to know what's happening and so forth. And as you know, whether it's civil or criminal or animal or human related, there's investigations that are ongoing. That's part of the fact finding and so forth. So the county, and certainly myself, when I put out a press release, will not ever get ahead of that process. But this was a immediate press release. We can get out there. I know that the sheriff's office and other officers are being inundated with phone calls. And while we all are officers of the public, they need to be able to do their work and have the appropriate venue. So we're trying to communicate that. I've handed this out to both Gracie and Chuck, to try to circulate on the news front. We'll definitely put this on our website to let the general public know. If you have tips involved in the case, the animal control's number is listed there. The email, Miss Berry recommended her email address. So we've listed that. We just ask folks to, we appreciate the concern and outreach, but we appreciate also patience during the investigation. There is no additional information at this time. If there is information to be updated, I'll get that information from the appropriate departments and get board approval, and we'll issue another press release. But right now, I just urge general public that let the investigation play out. And when we have information, we will certainly put that out there.
Very good on that. Good. There you go. I do think I talked to Greg earlier today, and I thought the interesting comment you made was from Dr. Reinhold about how the rabies deal problem that we had enhanced people coming into the clinic, getting their animals taken care of, and that's the responsible thing to do. That's great. I mean, kind of the positive outcome from a negative situation. Anybody else got anything for Greg? Thank you, Greg. Jerry.
Yes, sir. We're having the Wool and Wine Festival on April 23rd. 7 vendors, 4 different wineries. We have Free Union Band from Charlottesville playing and the Supervisors kids area. On May 21st is a tour to Madison. We have a record number of registrations for spring sports this year, and they're all underway with softball's opening day this weekend. Summer camp registrations are going strong and they're open till the end of the month. Special events, tent is up for rentals, and this year the farmers market will be moving back up there to that tent. Music in the park events are now live. Ticket sales for June 25th, July 23rd, and August 20th. And we have Eagle Scout John Smith is doing a project at the driving range where they poured cement this weekend, and we'll be putting in rubber mats for the driving range. So that's all I got.
When's the
Any
20-year
questions?
anniversary?
Oh, that's the July 31st, and we're working on that one too.
Seems like that's a good one.
Get some stuff together. Now, I like to invite all the departments in the Madison, the county, and invite everybody to come to that. And if they want to put up a display or anything, it's great. So we've been talking to the school. I think we have some kids that are playing some music that day. We'll have a kids area, bounce houses, and all that stuff. So
Gonna be good. 20 years of Hoover Ridge.
Yep.
Brian Daniels already got his exhibit ready. You ready? Good. That's the way to be. All right. Any questions for Jerry? Thank you. Tracy?
We'll be promoting that and working on a video too that we'll include with MAP drones. So that'll be good. Our ARPA plan with tourism was officially approved, and we have received the first half of the deposit, the $20,000. VATI, we're just kind of in a holding zone right now. We should have news regarding CenturyLink and Chantel soon. Ribbon cuttings, April 2nd for Emmylous and Dyer's Insurance. And it was also Pig and Steak's 35th anniversary, April 2nd, and Bavarian Chef's 48th anniversary. So on the behalf of the chamber, I kind of sent flowers and did that kind of thing for them. We have a couple other larger anniversaries coming up in July, so stay tuned for that on top of the 20th for Hoover Ridge. Tomorrow morning at 117 Marketplace, I'm doing a ribbon cutting, but they officially open on April 15th. Hold on. They are officially a gourmet marketplace with Southern heart and California vibes. Their goal is to support small businesses throughout the United States by bringing their amazing products to Madison. High quality products for your kitchen, pantry, home, beauty, and wellness. Bagel sandwiches and salads are made to order and sold for takeout. Takeout only, by the way. And I think I already told you guys, Salsa Street Grill is now open till 6, Wednesday through Friday. Blue Ridge Coffee Crafters can get coffee there as well from Salsa Street Grill. I attended the state's spring conference, March 23rd through 25th. Did some definite handshaking there, spoke to Mark Warner, a lot of the state people. John Loftus at Vita there talked about Hidden Pines. So thanks again for your support. That is officially, I can tell you, they weren't just telling me that. The state was very excited about that project. So, and Box In, Box Out on Seville Road has been leased to a Charlottesville nonprofit that distributes textbooks. I was actually trying to submit it for a lead last week, and then I was told that. I don't know the name of the nonprofit yet, though. We were going to go in person, but we're going to switch it back to virtual social media training at the conference room at the visitor center. It's going to be online. I'll get that information out tomorrow. Walk-in visitors still low, but website hits are still higher than usual this time of year. Got everyone's spring events being promoted, including the Wool and Wine Festival, and also the Real Estate Weekly, who does really good articles on us, is putting our events in there for a very low price. I mean, of course, that one ad for Livability magazine is one for more economic development related and trying to get talent acquisition. And we are not having a realtors roundtable for April. We are encouraging them all to attend the Extension Office's event, the Greater Piedmont Farmland Marketing Conference on April 20th instead. Business Expo is May 19th. Sean stole my thunder on that one. I hope we can maybe air the 5 over 50 event there too at the fire department. Getting great feedback on our commercial. Go Virginia has a new website, and the Central Virginia Partnership for Economic Development is doing a website for talent recruitment. And our tourism committee meeting is Tuesday at 1:30. I'm already getting people I've been getting Taste of Mountains applications, but already getting people asking about the parade. So we're still going as planned.
Good. Questions for Tracy?
Where is 117 Mark?
The old Mad Arts building, right across from my building almost. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the one I've been saying it was a coffee shop for like 10 years.
Street side parking available.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it is.
There you go. We're all excited about the coffee shop. It's only taken 10 years. All right. Any other questions for Tracy? Very good. Karen, animal shelter.
Hey, everyone. The shelter's going well. We're pretty full. It's not quiet anymore. So I'm working on finding rescues and homes for the dogs. We have 2 cats, but a lot of dogs. And big news.
Yeah.
Wind and Weather has donated this check, which is incredible. That was very gracious of them. So we have some plans to do some improvements for the animals at the shelter. And that's about all I have.
That is absolutely great. What a good
Yes.
community supporting neighbor we have.
Yes.
The questions come up, and I guess I'll go to Jonathan. The funds from that check go into where specifically?
It goes into a donation, and it goes down to our treasurers, but it goes into a line item for donations. So it is specific. It doesn't cover regular operations. Forgive me for not having the fund number in front of me here tonight. Also, item 10 is going to cover some of that if you want to jump to it, but it does go down to the treasurer. Karen did a good job. It's in the board report for item number 10 of giving Wind and Weather an idea of where those funds will be used for. I can tell you it's very big for the business community to give donations, but also this was driven by passion. So we met with Bill Teague, who's vice president of one of their operations, and is it Marcella? That's very much her passion. She is an adopted, at least a prior animal from an SCPA, and you can tell when she showed up. I didn't want to be on camera, so I couldn't break it, but they took some photos of the well-deserved, hardworking staff taking that, and Karen presented the letter of what those funds will be used for. We're also giving them a letter thanking them and also providing our tax ID number should they want some tax benefit of it as well. So just a good community thing. We're very appreciative, and Karen and her team are doing great work out there. And I think we had a wind and weather flag by coincidence flying around by the entrance door that Mr. Teague picked up on. So
everybody needs to take note of this. This is the first big check we've had in these meetings. We need to bring more big checks to these meetings. That'd be a great trend to have. What else do we have on number 10, Jonathan?
That was the main thing,
Yeah.
sir, is just to give credit. You know, Karen identified where these funds would go. We're providing that letter. It doesn't really need board action, but as I said in there, I think I need to at least, or staff needs to at least bring awareness to the board and the general public when we're receiving these in-kind donations. Just so if you're seeing folks out and about in your personal time, you can thank them as well. But it's more for informational, but also to publicly thank Wind and Weather, and which is a division of Plow and Hearth. We're thankful to have that business community here in Madison.
Mr. Murray. Thank you, Mr. Murray. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Murray. Questions for Karen, Ms. Murray, Jonathan, whoever? Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Sean Gregg, anything to report?
Nothing to report.
Very good. Mr. Fry, or who am I missing?
We got Miss Ward as well.
I caught her. She
Did
was
you
number
cut? I
one.
apologize.
It was
I need to
memorable.
wake up. Well, sorry, Miss Ward.
Bobby.
Yeah, I want to respond first to what Tracy is doing. I live in Northern Virginia, and I just wanted the folks here to know that I watched an advertisement that was put on TV, and it was excellent. It was all about Madison County. Looked very similar to one that you might see in Asheville for the Asheville area. So I just thought I'd throw that out. Other than that, we're finishing up the budget process hopefully tonight, and what we're going to be transitioning into now in the finance department is working back on the ERP. So we have that going on. And then also we're going to be focusing on year end, believe it or not. We're getting close now to the June 30th, and we're going to try to communicate a little better about the year end process to all the departments and make sure that we capture everything that we can to go against FY22 budget. Another thing that we're going to be focusing on in the finance department is staff development in the next few months. I think because of our schedule, it's probably more time right now for us to focus a little more on staff development. And then the last thing that we plan to do is develop some proposed policies and procedures, financial policies and procedures. Some might come to the board. So basically that's it. It's just updated what we're probably going to be working on in the short run.
Very good. Questions for Bobby? All right. We got hits everybody. Old business, town UDA, letter of support. Mr. Weekly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Some prior action has you all had voted to direct the Planning Commission to consider the town's UDA request during the comprehensive plan review. So what you have included with the board report is a letter that I have drafted, assuming the board, if you are okay with that, I'll communicate with Ms. Yao, who's the town clerk, of the board's intent to specifically even clarify a little more that the review and consideration for the town of Madison UDA designation, it will be done during the upcoming comprehensive plan review, letting them know that we anticipate starting mid-year of 2022. As you know, you charge the Planning Commission initially to dive in, and then the board will have time to review. But also the UDA request shall focus solely on the current town boundaries for the town's UDA consideration. So if the board is inclined and approves of this letter, feel free to direct me and I will send that communication over to Ms. Yao.
Anybody have any issue with this? The town has asked us for it. It does seem like something that we've talked about, we can talk about, and it's been brought up previously. about expanding the UDA outside of the town, coming up towards 29 and Fishback on the north side of town, and then potentially going farther south on the other end of town. Right now, without the planning commission's studying of this, let's stick with the town right now, and hopefully this gets them what they need for their grant application. If we have any problem or questions, I do think we should do a motion to support this so that it is official. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mr. Chairman, I move that we have staff send a letter to the town of Madison in support of the urban development area.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. New business, FY23 budget adoption resolution. Mr. Weekly?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I believe each of you, Alan, I believe they have a copy at the dais. Also, this can be found online by the general public going under our webpage. We have it listed as proposed budget. We have it before the Board of Supervisors for consideration tonight to adopt that budget. So, Mr. Chairman, what you have as your first item next is the resolution to adopt the fiscal 2023 Madison County budget.
Resolution number 2022-4. I'll save everybody from reading it. But essentially it shows the expenditures, the operating budget, the capital budget, and then totals. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve resolution 2022-4.
I second.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Next, tax rate resolution. Mr. Weekly?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as you know, to put Ms. Murray in motion with mailing, as well as our wonderful commissioner, you got a couple of choices. Last year was a tax ordinance, and the reason being was that because when you have a tax increase, you generally do an ordinance, you go out for advertisement. Your tax rates, which there were no changes, did go out as part of the budget advertisement as well. So we feel a resolution is more appropriate. So you have that resolution to fix the tax rates before you tonight, Mr. Chairman, known as Resolution 2022-5. Again, no changes to the tax rate. They are same as the FY22. However, the resolution lists out each individual tax rate. And I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Yeah, I've just got one question, Jonathan. So the other fees, like, special use permit, subdivision, all those, they don't have to be approved by the board.
So those
year
are
after year?
those are set, and Sean can correct me on language. Those are set
That's-
by statute. So unless there's changes, that particular items would not have to come back before you.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
A little different than the tax rate,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the administrative fees do not.
What do y'all want to do? 2022-5.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve resolution 2022-5.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? I think it's worth noting, this time last year, we did a 2-cent increase last year? Three, excuse me. And talking to financial consultants, talking to internally, we were anticipating doing another 2 this year, potentially 3 this year, and then for the next several years. What Mr. Weekly, Mr. Fry, Michelle, all the departments, and just responsible spending, constitutional officers, of course, responsible spending and appropriate budgeting made this year's process so easy. And we're healthier than we've been in years. We appreciate it. I think the taxpayers of Madison appreciate it. Thank you all very, very much. Really a good process this year.
Thank you, sir. Definitely a team effort.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Madison County Fair fee exemption request. Mr. Weekly?
Yes, sir. Usually you have this as an annual request by the fair board to waive any county landfill fees, building inspection fees, and zoning fees. So this request, as any request, if someone's making a exemption request, it should come from that body or that individual. So the Fair Board has done that through this letter of transmittal. So I put that there for the board consideration. I'm not advocating, I'm just saying this has been commonplace in years past. So we have put this before the board for your consideration here tonight.
We do this every year. What do y'all want to do?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we exempt the Madison County Fair from the county's landfill fees.
And all for clarity, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
For
please.
building inspection and zoning fees.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sorry.
Motion made. Second.
Second.
Yes, sir. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The fair this year is the 13th through the 16th of July. All right. Information and correspondence. Anybody have anything?
We already covered the press
Yeah,
release, Mr. Chairman.
yes, sir. Discussion. All right. Back to public comment. Public comment.
So Clay, do you think those sandwiches will be any good?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I am excited.
I'm excited.
Looking forward to California Flair here in Madison.
Mi-
It's
Mr.
going to be good.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to forecast one item for the next meeting since we
Sure.
have some good attendance from the general public. April 26th, and I believe it'll be advertised this week, Mr. Berry. We sent it out. The 6-year secondary road plan public hearing will be on the 26th. That meeting starts at 6 o'clock. So just wanted to plug that for April 26th.
Yeah, good. Any other public comment? We do have closed session. Thank you all for coming.
Who's got it?
You, hold
Who's
on.
got the?
I got it. Hold on.
Do I need to?
Hey, yeah.
Oh, no, I just,